Hello everybody! I'm very excited to show you this awesome demo on the Brother Luminaire XP2. The Luminaire has something called the My Design Center, and you may have seen these Hoffman flower panels before, and I wanted to show you how I was able to quilt these on the Brother Luminaire using the My Design Center. So, I have this very cool handy dandy hoop that's new. It's the magnetic sashing frame, and I already got it hooped up for you, and we are going to be looking at this petal right here. So I'm going to put this on the machine, and you have to be careful when you put this hoop on the machine. You're going to bring it in from the corner. Otherwise, the foot will not let the hoop go underneath because it is a little bit bulkier than most hoops. But we're going to slide it on just like any other hoop that we would use. Make sure to lock it in place, and we are ready to go. Don't stitch it to itself. I've done that before. You only do it one time. Okay, on the screen here, you have Sewing, Embroidery, Disney, and My Design Center. We're going to go to the My Design Center. And when I want to bring in a new image, I'm going to hit this little fern leaf at the very top here. So I'm going to tap the fern leaf. This gives me 3 different options. Do I want to bring in an image, or do I want it to look for a line design, or do I want it to look for an illustration, which means it will look for lines and colors. So right now, I just want to see this on my screen. So I'm going to use an image scan. And I'm going to hit scan. I'm going to let it know that it is safe to scan. Okay, so once it pops up on the machine, it's going to show me a pretty faded version of it. So I want to actually go to this scale right up top, and it's going to let me see this in a little bit more of a vivid view. Although I don't want to go too far on the scale because I won't be able to see any edits that I have done. So I'm going to just do one click over on my image scan up here. And then I want to isolate this petal that I'm going to use. So first, I'm going to go right where this satin stitch shows. And I have found that I really like to do these panels with a triple stitch. So the triple stitch is going to be my third option through here. I'm going to select my triple stitch, and then I'm going to hit OK. So I'm going to try to draw around my petal. And I'm going to try to get as close as I can around here. When I first started making these, I thought I had to make everything perfect. And I realized that after you start doing several rows of the petals, you can't see your mistakes and you can't see if things don't line up perfectly, and you'll see on my samples. So the nice thing about this is if you're a little bit wiggly or if you're not exactly where you need to be, that's okay. And we have a projector that I'll show you in just a minute to make sure it's right where I want it to be before it stitches out. So I want this triple stitch through here, but I want to make sure that I don't stitch on some of the petals that I would have already stitched on. So I can go back to my triple stitch here, and I'm going to choose a no stitch. So this will just give me a line, and it will help lasso out that area that I don't want it to stitch outside of. So once I do that, I can say OK. And this one's a little bit trickier to see since it is a no line. But I'm just going to go around all the areas that I don't want it to stitch. And I have to be sure that all of my lines touch and it creates one shape, because if there's an open area, when I go in to put a fill, it will fill the whole area. So I have to make sure it's a closed shape. So now that I have my no line area, I get to pick a very fun fill that I want to put inside of the petal. So I'm going to go to my paint bucket because I'm going to fill a whole area, and I'm going to go to my options. I can choose to do stippling or any one of these very fun fills. So I think I'm going to do the seashell. I love the seashell. I'm going to say okay. And then let's do red is okay. I think red is going to look just great. So we're going to do red. And with my paint bucket, I can tap this area and it fills that petal for me. I don't even have to be artistic. It does it for me. So I think that looks pretty darn good. And I'm going to hit next so I can see what it's going to look like in real stitches. So it thinks for just a second, and then it shows me exactly what it's going to look like when it's stitched out. I think this looks perfect, and I don't want to change a single thing. So I'm going to hit set. It's going to ask me if it's okay to turn this into an embroidery design. I'm going to say, yes, that's what I want to do. So now I'm going to go all the way to the embroidery page. And then you'll notice this projector icon here. I call it the dense cap because that's what it looks like to me. But you're going to hit your dense cap here. And this is going to let me project the stitches before I actually stitch them out. And I have used this feature so much with this project because sometimes it looks perfect and then I use the projector and I'm like, oh, I need to move it over just a smidge. So on the screen here, I have a little square that's going to show me the area on the actual machine that is projected. So here I can tell that I need to move it down and to the left a little bit. And I have the option to do that here on the screen. So I can move this down. I can move it to the left just a little bit. And I can move this box around. I can check every side just to make sure it's going to look exactly how I want it to. And so far, oh, it looks perfect. Woo, okay, so I'm going to say okay, and now I'm ready to stitch out. It's going to stitch the fill first, and then it's going to do the outline for me, and I will just repeat that process on every petal. It's very easy. Anybody could do it, and these are so beautiful. It's one of those things that you make, and people are like, how the heck did you make that? And you're like, well, I have this really cool machine. So I'm very excited, and I hope that you guys enjoy my samples that I have made to show you today. Thank you.